Welcome to the Hyperborean Hee-Haw. My name is Devin Alon Magi. Thank you, my love and light warrior family of the Gaia Ascensional 12th Dimensional Pleiadian Star Seedling Force. Good to see you. Just joking, I can't see you. So, in today's Hee-Haw, we are talking about the prison realm idea. A very attractive idea for some of us. The concept goes as follows. We are in some kind of prison realm, or soul trap, or louche farm, designed by malevolent entities, like demons, archons, or reptilians, for the sake of extracting our delicious divine energy. And this is why there is so much conflict in this world. This is why there are so many deficiencies here. And you know what? It doesn't take much observation, I'll admit, to conclude that indeed this world is a deceptive landscape that goes against wisdom, that goes against divine principles of nurture and of healing. I mean, take a look. Every system is corrupted. There's so much dogma and ideology. Just being in a material realm, just being on this plane, in these bodies, forces us to deal with certain limitations. So you know what? I can, I suppose, relate to this feeling of being imprisoned. And yet, at the end of the day, this is not the truth. It can be very attractive and alluring to place the blame of our sufferings and the sufferings of the world onto some evil force. It's very easy to do this because, well, placing blame takes no effort. And when we pay attention to this world, we actually can identify certain people or agendas or systems that seem to be the root of society's sufferings and the world's woes. I suffer so much, one can say. I go through all of this confusion and uncertainty here, and I deserve a utopia. So you know what? I would never be the one responsible for this mess, because if I had it my way, I would produce an experience not full of these shadows. But don't be so certain that you want a utopia. We require this experience, and we require it because we are representatives of divinity, and divinity expresses itself using the material plane to flesh out all of these scenarios. So, expansion can occur. We're performing this performance called life in order to expand all of creation. Well, that sounds kind of fantastical. That sounds very, untrue. What are you saying, Devin? This makes no fucking sense. Look at the world. This is wishful thinking. Yeah, you know what? That's what this society will get you to think. When we sink into the ways and perspectives of the world, when we consent to and align with these dreary, disconnected ideas of how reality operates, basically when we ignore divinity's role in everything, we end up severing our connection with our inner child, with the true divine that needs us to confront all of the muck that prevents that inner child from being let out and expressing itself. If we follow the ways of the world, if we just harden ourselves and agree with humans and their notions of maturity, their notions of what being a human means, then yeah, we're going to get lost in the sauce of this reality, and we're going to point the finger over there and over there. But you know what? What about the here? What about the here and now? What about who and what you are? The most immature way to process this experience is to separate the experience and the experiencer. There is truly no distinction between the perceived and the perceiver. That's you. This is the divine principle of as within, so without. Why do you deserve this experience? Because you're experiencing it. This is way more magical than we oftentimes give it credit for. Look at this. Feel this. You're alive. You're in this wild trip. You're in this wild journey called life. And it's incredible that you're animated and that you're able to suffer and that you're able to experience joy and you're able to have problems and you're able to resurrect yourself by dealing with yourself in an honest, authentic way. This kind of empowerment can only be actualized when we step away from the us versus them perspectives that drive us into a feeling of victimhood. You are not a victim simply because there are challenges here. You are not the subject of unfair energy extraction just because there are unpleasantries to deal with. If we are honest with ourselves, we will know that a lot of the challenges that we face have everything to do with how we approach this world and our own consciousness. Our psyches, our minds, our psychology can produce many attachments and addictions and delusions. Our own incompleteness is always obvious to us, but the incompleteness and nonsensical ways of the world are also quite obvious. So we are given the option here, we could say, to avoid ourselves and the work that needs to be done and the confrontation that needs to occur in exchange for contempt of the world. And there is an endless list of things to have contempt for here. There is an endless list of deficiencies. So, I don't know if that road is the best one to travel. One result of this dualistic framework in which we're separating the inner world and the outer world is to throw one's hands up and say, I suffer, I hurt, because the world is incomplete. And yes, I'm incomplete too, but I would be much more complete if the world could just fill in the blank. This is a very tempting idea, but it's laziness. Come on. Of course the world is crazy. Most people will agree with you. The world is crazy. You think that's a divine realization? Oh my God, the world is this way. Oh my God, there's this conflict. There's this agenda. There's that bad guy. It's a never-ending list. But guess what? You're still here. So how are you going to use this time? Well, I imagine if you're a living soul, if you're a being who wishes to unveil beauty everlasting, that you want to be as true to this process as you can. And that means not getting too sidetracked in the blame game. There is this darkness, we could say, that needs to be dealt with. And it seems to be growing in the world at large. And this is not because darkness prevails. This is not because the shadowy parts of ourselves and of others reign supreme. The darkness is actually not separate from the divine. The divine expressing itself through this material experience has to cleanse itself. Well, why does this have to happen, Devin? You know, I'm kind of with you, one could say, but this ain't cool. This isn't fun. Get me out of here. Well, too bad. There is only one thing that is immortal, and that is consciousness. Meaning, you're stuck with yourself. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. Yes, this material experience does give us the ability to distract ourselves over and over again, but eventually, we have to pay the piper. Or to say in a better way, eventually we must confront ourselves. And the microcosmic experience that we call our life orchestrates itself in such a way that when we're not paying attention to what so desperately wants to be known, well, more problems arise. More conflicts with ourselves and with others occur. I know. There's no proof for this, huh? I get it. There's all this proof for the existence of the world, and that's the deception. That's the deception. There's no separation between this world and you. Don't you know, when you close your eyes at night, where does the world go? Well, I'm still there. Not in your experience. The truth is way stranger than fiction. And the magic of this situation has to be understood for us to liberate ourselves from this mortal experience. The concept of a prison realm or a soul trap louche farm typically abhors ideas of karma or of lessons that need to be learned. And you know what? I don't care how many near-death experiences talk about a light trap. You should know by now that there are so many avenues of deception here, and they will all claim themselves to be true. And I wholeheartedly know every avenue of deception, every road of misinformation, we could say, ha ha ha, is designed so we don't take responsibility for ourselves. But why is there deception, Devin? Who's orchestrating it? It's a test. It's a test. And all of these challenges Test us. What's your response going to be? In the face of all of these streams of information that tell you to fear this and to fear that, are you going to give in, or are you going to disconnect from all of the noise outside of you and reinforce that inner divinity? I don't care how many people say it's a prison planet or prison plane. I don't care how many people tell me I'm going to hell because I don't follow Jesus Christ. I don't care how much proof there is for this or that. What I care about is my connection with the inner space that I know produces everything external to me, including the deception. Well, if I'm producing everything, Devin, why would I produce this deception? It doesn't make sense. Somebody's orchestrating it. Come on, you've had nightmares where you're deceived by your own nightmarish ghouls. It's not outside of the realm of possibility or of consciousness's antics to set up a maze of confusion just so you can get the message that I am here, that I am divine, that even though there's shadows all around me, I don't give a fucking fuck. Because it's all about the I, it's all about the I am. That's narcissistic. Oh my god. Really? Really, that's narcissistic. Okay, so you're insignificant and continue being a mature adult who buys into narratives and dogmas and ideology. You know what? The world would be a way better place if everyone was self-empowered and self-actualized. Yeah, real narcissistic, huh? It's that political party. It's that agenda. It's the reptilians. It's the archons. It's the demons. It's anything but me. And where does that lead you? Into more paranoia and into more us versus them perspectives. That doesn't feel too empowering. And if we just want to write off this empowerment as some new age trick, well, I guess you're fucked then. All right. I guess we're all fucked. But we're not. We're not, because we have the ability to change the quality of our consciousness. And yes, this usually takes some reconfiguration, some discipline, some necessary order, so we can let the chaos, let the divine feminine breathe. I think we should be empowered, but not through deceiving ourselves. Yes, you are divine. You are the divine, yes. But that does not mean there's no journey to take. That does not mean one should kick up their feet and revel in the sublime divinity that is them. Oh, excuse me. I think I just used they, them pronouns. Ho, 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 ho. Sorry if you're offended by that, my LGBTQTC bisexual trannifiedness peoples. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a freaking idiot. I'm just babbling. I'm just babbling away. You think I have wisdom to offer you? You think I have good things to say about this reality? I know I have nothing to offer. And I guess this is a good segue to say this. I always feel like I'm just starting. I always feel like I am just beginning a beautiful journey. I prefer this over wanting to simply arrive at some conclusive point of purity. I prefer to be on this endless journey. And I think the problem with framing ourselves as hostages in this situation is that this perspective does not take into account that growth requires challenge. So challenge is actually a gift. No, it's not. challenge doesn't feel good. Oh yeah? Okay, then why don't right now I place you into a beautiful garden and there's nothing to contend with? How about that? Good. There's no more conflict. Good. There's no more journey to be had. You got everything you need. You got all the food you want, all of the pleasure you can imagine. There you go. Is that paradise? The mythology of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden is a great allegory describing the longing for some journey, something more than pure perfection. The Garden of Eden has no sickness, no disease, no old age, no problems. And God instructs Adam and Eve to revel in the perfection with one caveat. Do not eat the fruit of the forbidden tree. Of course, Adam and Eve go against this one rule. Why would they do that? If you're existing in paradise and you're told not to perform one action, I mean, what's the attraction? The attraction is, let's see what happens, right? Let's test this out. So God basically presents them a challenge. And how do they respond to that challenge? By going against God's orders. This allegory is beautiful. It shows that there is a proclivity to venture into the unknown, to go into a space that is not all that we would want in our utopian fantasies. So here we are, in a purgatorial world, in a process as living souls. Here we are. And we have to deal with the woes of the world, with the woes of our relationships, with the day-to-day conflicts that arise. Well, I want to get to a state where there is no conflict. Yes, yes, my dear living soul, that is the beckoning light of inspiration. There is a horizon. It's right over there, and there's a beautiful sunset. And why don't we run towards it? And running towards that beauty is what makes us feel alive. So when there's a challenge, there's always the ability to unveil this inspiration. I don't care how much proof there is for this religion, for that dogma. This world will give you so many reasons to align with this political party or this idea. Here's some historical proof. Here's some scientific data. The deception here is never ending. So what we gotta do as living souls is give our middle finger to this deception and not feel consumed by it or trapped by it like the rest of humanity. And when we can do this, we can then go inside of ourselves, take responsibility for our consciousness, For the quality of our consciousness especially, let us revel in the chaos that is the feminine and the order that is the masculine. Let us know that each moment is completely perfect, but at the same time, to grow is to know that we are not perfect, that there is always more to become, and there is always expansion to be had. And because the divine is using this experience to express itself and refine itself, every victory we attain through self-mastery becomes a gift to the entire universe, to the universe, as within, so without. Okay, my Pleiadian starship seedlings of the fifth dimensional rainbow love and light and compassion family. I hope you enjoyed this little blip of audio. Now I'm going to go back into my spaceship that doesn't exist because we're on a flat plane. Godspeed, and have a fine experience. And be honest with yourself, and be disciplined, okay? And treat yourself with respect, and try to make sure that each moment is going to uplift the next. Keep being inspired, baby. Bye-bye.